The Asian Learning Exchange on Agroecology Economies took place in Bogor, West Java, Indonesia from April 21st to 26th. Each day started with a mystica from diverse regions of Asia, followed by a guided dynamic aiming to ground and awaken peer learning, co-creation, and collective reflection. The participants had the opportunity to visit the local peasant market in Bogor, rich with diverse, vibrant, and nutritious food. The opening panel focused on agroecology in Indonesia to bring light into the country's most relevant solutions.
Kebijakan strategis dari kami Kementerian Koperasi, yaitu kami mempunyai program Koperasi Desa Merah Putih. Targetnya sebanyak 80.000 koperasi merah putih yang tersebar di seluruh kabupaten dan provinsi di Indonesia. Memperkuat ekonomi kerakyatan dan gotong royong. Tujuannya adalah untuk memberdayakan masyarakat desa, meningkatkan kesejahteraan dan mendukung pemerataan ekonomi. Koperasi ini diharapkan mampu mengoptimalkan potensi lokal, serta menjadi solusi atas tantangan ekonomi desa, seperti minimnya akses permodalan, lapangan kerja terbatas, dan kemiskinan ekstrim.
The methodology included group dynamics to harvest collective stories. The space was designed like an agroecological gallery, so that participants could walk through visual summaries about the agroecological projects of their peers all across Asia, welcoming a space for all participant organizations to hear firsthand about other projects and share their own process.
Serikat Petani Indonesia pada kesempatan ini menjadi tuan rumah dari pelaksanaan pertukaran petani Asia untuk agroecology PAN. Luar biasa sekali pengalaman inspirasi yang dapat diperoleh, terutama kita melihat masing-masing daerah punya kelebihan alamnya dan penemuan dan praktek yang dilakukan.
Working groups were created to hold parallel thematic sessions on agroecology economies. Each group created a poster to summarize their insights about key topics. We harvest the thematic sessions' outcomes and share them in a plenary.
Finally, the solidarity for the solution in South Asia from our group suggestion. Thank you.
What I get to know here is the varieties of knowledge in Asia that we have been practicing, especially on agroecology and economies around. We need system of agroecology, meaning that we need to also establish the way that the market can be responsible for the products we produce, and also other traditional knowledge or wisdom that we already have in our communities, how we can bring back to respond to the crisis we have today.
The gathering included a territorial market with agroecological products by AEF grantees from all across Asia. Another key panel focused on financing agroecology transitions, where grantees share experiences on how to influence donors.
For instance, when I come from Kerala, right now there is a whole movement that's happening on something like waste management, which needs tons and tons of funds. But we are seeing that actually there are very few global funds that have come in for waste management, but we are solving the problem. And how are we solving the problem? We are going back to the local self-governments. The ideas have been propounded. They have been formulated very well. The models have been set up, and then the local governments are supporting them. So your whole question of public funding is a possibility. But the point is that we need to be much, much more equipped to show models of scale.
The Agroecology Fund also presented their strategic plan which included the establishment of regional funds for more in-depth and territorial grant-making in Asia. Bharat Agroecology Fund is a pooled grant-making initiative that supports agroecological solutions across India.
The Bharat Agroecology Fund is about 3 years old now. So we have a pool of about 55 to 60 grantees now. We're in our 4th round of funding, going into the 5th. Coming to Indonesia was very good for us because I learned about community funds and how they're managed in different ways by different communities. I love the idea of what we're doing, that it's not just funding for particular projects, but that we actually form a large community that exchanges solidarity and learning. So yeah.
The gathering closed with a field visit to SPI Learning Center and rice fields, where the participants learned about their history of how they transition into agroecology.
Jadi ini luar biasa sekali hari ini kita hadir di sini. Dan saya berdiri di sini tergantung kalau hujannya
Sekarang kita sedang berada di kawasan Daulat Pangan Serikat Petani Indonesia yang kita deklarasikan. Di tanah ini merupakan tanah perjuangan reforma agraria, di mana kita sudah mendistribusikan seluas 500 hektar kepada petani sebagai hasil perjuangan mereka. Dan juga di tanah ini sudah kita praktekkan pertanian agroekologi, di mana petani telah menggunakan praktek-praktek pertaniannya di mana tidak lagi menggunakan pestisida kimia, pupuk kimia, dan cara-cara pertanian yang benar-benar ramah lingkungan. Misalnya dalam hal pembasmian tikus, kita di sini menggunakan burung hantu dan sebagainya. Dan produksi pertanian di sini meningkat.
Taking forward for the global exchange, learning for agroecology economies, I think it's a high time that we from different movements in the global south unite together. Each one of us has the duty to sharing the knowledge, whether you are peasants, whether you are researchers like myself, or they're working towards policy change. As consumer, you may have the role to also purchase locally based food in your tradition or your market. Each of us have collective action to reclaim back the way we produce food to try to ensure that our society are healthier.